Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we honor our veterans with coverage from the township's annual Veterans Day Observance, and then we check out how the East Brunswick Senior Center celebrated and thanked some of their own members who served. We talk with members of the Friends of the Library as they hold the Tastes of Autumn, a fundraiser selling cookbooks of recipes submitted by members. We visit the East Brunswick Historical Society for a special presentation talking about New Jersey history with a local author. And then we speak with local accountant Ed Mendelowitz about a presentation he gave at the library talking about business titan Warren Buffett. All this, plus we have information on Medicare open enrollment and how the Senior Center can assist you in the process. So stay with us. This Week in East Brunswick starts now. East Brunswick held the annual Veterans Day Observance at the monument in Veterans Park. EBTV will rebroadcast the ceremony in its entirety through December 4th, Fridays and Sundays at 8 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m., and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. It can also be viewed anytime as HD video on demand at www.ebtv.org.
Good evening and welcome to our Veterans Day recognition ceremony, where it is fitting that the recurring anniversary of this date should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and an exercise like this gathering, which is designed to honor and remember those men and women who have worn the uniform of this great nation.
Now, the mayor asked me to speak today because I come from a family of veterans. I can trace my family back as far back as the service in the Civil War. My great-grandfather was part of an ambulance company that was sent to France in 1918, and my own grandfather was wounded by a German hand grenade in the Hurtgen Forest in 1944. My father has the distinction of serving in both Vietnam and Iraq, one of the few veterans of being able to say they've done so. My brother served 2 tours in Afghanistan with the United States Marines, and my youngest brother is in the Army National Guard in Woodbridge, along with my Marine veteran brother and my cousin, all in the same unit. I myself am a veteran of Iraq, although I can say, looking back almost 10 years now, having the space of 10 years to look back, I could say I was probably not a very good soldier. But my family is not unique, and there are millions of families whose sons and daughters have answered the call to service. 1.2 million Americans have fallen in the battle since the founding of this nation, and judging by the current situation in the world, it is unfortunate that many more will continue to fall. That's 1.2 million Americans. Not infantrymen, airmen, Marine, or sailors, but Americans. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, Native, men, women, gay, straight, young, old, liberal, and conservative. They were your neighbors, they were your classmates, they were your colleagues, they were sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, husbands and wives. However, it is not just the strength of arms or aircraft or tanks that defeated our enemies or kept the peace abroad. It was those high standards set by General Washington 2 centuries ago, the need to respect our democratic traditions, values, and institutions. Whether you have worn a uniform, continue to wear a uniform, or have only worn a uniform of the everyday American life, you have a duty as an American. You don't have to thank a veteran, although it is humbling to be thanked. And you don't have to enlist, because enlisting is not for everyone. You can honor our veterans every day by participating in civic life. You can vote, you can volunteer, you can take a class, join a club, plant a tree. Be kind to your neighbors, and ultimately do the right thing. These are the perks of being an American. It took 8 years of struggle for the Americans to win their independence from Great Britain, and it took another 82 years to abolish the country's original sin of slavery. Excuse me. 137 years to give women the right to vote, and 4 years to defeat fascism, and 232 years for marriage equality. The men struggled in the revolution so that we might have a nation, and we struggle still to define who we are and what we might wish to become. This is one of the freedoms we as Americans have. Please do not squander your opportunity to make a small difference, and you too can honor the legacy of servicemen and servicewomen today and forever. Thank you.
I want to welcome you to our Veterans Celebration. I love the response that we received from our Veterans Celebration. This is our 7th anniversary, and each year the response grows and grows. We are so fortunate that men and women, generation after generation, continue to say yes to the call to serve our country. It's because of the sacrifices that they have made that we are able to gather here freely this afternoon and celebrate them and celebrate our great nation. You know, I never identified myself as someone from a military family until today. I mean, we've done this 7 years already, right? And so today I was thinking, my father, my father-in-law, my brother all served. My son and daughter-in-law are serving, all in the Navy, so I guess I'm from a military family. I didn't know. So I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of all of you, and thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for coming today to help us celebrate you and all that you have done for us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see so many smiling faces and dedicated faces. I guess this year, with the election the way it has been going, I've thought how privileged I am to be living in a democracy that allows such discussion. I don't like a lot of it, but that we are allowed to say what we feel and to have the democratic process. I think we are blessed, and you know, I never, especially this year, never take it for granted. So I want to thank all veterans and all families of veterans who also sacrificed and gave their service to our country so we can live in freedom and democracy. Thank you so very, very much.
And welcome to our Veterans Day Recognition Luncheon, where it is fitting on this date that we should commemorate with thanksgiving and prayer an exercise like this luncheon gathering designed to honor and remember those men and women who have given of themselves to wear the uniform of this great nation. You, our veterans, have the honor and distinction of serving in the military, the responsibility that comes with serving, and the sacrifice that comes with serving overseas. You also stand watch over the memory of great events, of brave young Americans. You are the witnesses to what was gained in our wars and what was lost. You carry the fine traditions and values of our military, and you share them by your example. You have a special place in the life of America, and America is proud and grateful for you. Thank you. So kind. We celebrate Veterans Day for a few minutes, for a few seconds of silence. And then this country's life goes on. But I think it most important that we recall on this occasion and on every other moment when we are faced with great responsibilities, the contribution and the sacrifice which so many of you have made in order to permit this country to now occupy its position of responsibility and freedom, and in order for us to gather here today. So on this Veterans Day of 2016, on this day of remembrance, let us pray in the name of those who have worn the uniform, fought in this country's wars, and most especially who have fought in the First World War, that there will be no veterans of any future wars. Not because we all shall have perished, oh no, but because we shall have learned to live in peace together. Again, I thank you for your service. God bless you, East Brunswick, and the United States of America.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber ways of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet who cerned impassioned stress, a thoroughfare of freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for patriot's dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster city's flame, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
This is our Taste of Autumn tasting event. We have published a cookbook last year. Many of the recipes are from that cookbook, plus we've added a couple of autumn favorites, and we're hoping people will come and have a taste and enjoy. Friends of the Library is an organization that works to support the library. We pay for children's and adult programming, as well as other things around the library. We pay for furnishings of the quiet reading center and the small meeting rooms. We do whatever the library needs to help supplement the funds that they get from the town. The cookbook is on sale tonight at the event, half price for $5, but at other times it's on sale at the circulation desk for $10. And it includes many ethnic recipes from people in our community.
And all of our members, or most of our members, cooked for this. And we're thrilled to have so many people joining in and enjoying our many items. We have main dishes, we have desserts, and the girls did a fabulous job fixing up the place. We want to have many events in the library, and this supports the library. So come and join our events, and also join the Friends of the Library. There are envelopes all over the library, and we appreciate any donations that you can give.
We would love for everybody who uses the library to be a member of the Friends of the Library. Obviously, using the library is for free, but if you become a friend, you help support the library and the programming and all the wonderful things that we do here. You can just fill in an envelope that's all over the library and become a member of the Friends. We also have activities that you can work at, like our book sale, which is our major fundraiser, but the volunteer forms are on the membership forms. So if you'd like to be involved, we would love to have you join.
Presenting a talk today about my book, which is an anthology of stories I wrote for a New Jersey newspaper over a number of years. And they're stories about people from New Jersey that no one ever heard of. They were briefly famous or a little infamous, but they're nobody. There's no Frank Sinatra, no Bon Jovi, no Woodrow Wilson. Just regular people whose lives can be very, very interesting. I'm going to be doing some reading and then a presentation about 6 of the 36 stories in the book. And I've selected some that relate to the military. I didn't do any politics. I thought it was a bad week for politics. And people in New Jersey who did things, invented things, or did honorable or dishonorable things. And I'm going to read a little, and then I'm going to tell the background on my research to learn about these people. I've been doing genealogy for, I hate to admit, almost 40 years. And it started with a love of my grandmother and looking for her ancestry. I write for an important New Jersey magazine called Garden State Legacy. It's an online magazine, it's free, and I write their genealogy column. It comes out quarterly. It's a great free resource on New Jersey history. We all come from different backgrounds. Some of us got here recently, some of us got here a long time ago, but it's the fabric of our country and of our culture that's woven of all these regular people. So it's wonderful to know about famous people in our country, but it's really important to understand the lives of people who live day by day, and their work and their sweat and their tears and their successes made us who we are today. And we might never know who they are, so I kind of resurrect them and share them with everyone. Young people, please try family history. Please get interested in American and world history. It gives you a point of view, and it informs you about the world that young people are going to build for the future. I want to thank the Historical Society, for East Brunswick Historical Society, for having me. It was very gracious of them. I'm happy to spend an afternoon with them sharing stories, and I thank them very much for the opportunity to share a love of history with them.
we just gave a talk sponsored by the East Brunswick Public Library Foundation about how Warren Buffett did it, how he acquired his wealth, what his investing principles are, and some peculiarities about his lifestyle.
I don't care if I make money. I don't want to lose money. I want the dividend.
Well, he's without doubt the most successful investor of all time. He's certainly worth today over $60 billion, and that's after giving away over $20 billion to charity. He has his main company is Berkshire Hathaway, which was the repository of all his wealth and all the companies that he owns. Berkshire Hathaway owns stock in about 44 public companies that's worth about $130 billion, and also owns about 60 or 70 private companies that are completely owned by Berkshire Hathaway, of which 9 of them would be on the Fortune 500 list, and that employ 360,000 people. So it's a pretty big operation.
So they could get a big payout and retire. He takes the management, so that's part of his way of collecting friends. He met Bill Gates in 1991. Now, he's much older than Bill Gates, and he's 25 years, 30 years older than Bill Gates. Bill Gates, you know who Bill Gates is, and nobody thought that they would get along, but they introduced them because they were both at a investment conference, and they were introduced. They became the best of friends.
Warren Buffett has distinct investing principles, which is sort of counter to what you might say is the mainstream people who are stock advisors and stock traders. But his is tested over a long period of time. And his basic principles are that you look for solid earnings and the ability to pay dividends. And if you don't have the earnings or the ability to pay dividends, in his mind, it's not a good investment. And in the long run, every company is going to end up being worth pretty much what it's based on its earnings and dividend capacity. He also has an extensive stock portfolio that a lot of people say if they could just copy what he has, they will do very well. But that's not so, because he has a very undiversified portfolio. Of the 44 public companies that he owns, five of the stocks account for 2/3 of the value. So it's not a good portfolio to emulate or to copy. So the tips are his method of evaluating investment opportunities in companies, not what he did.
Hi, I'm Sharon Riley Morosi, Assistant Director for the East Brunswick Department on Aging, and this is the Voice of Experience. I am here today at the Senior Center with Donna Falkenberry. Donna is the Social Service Coordinator for the Department on Aging, and she is also a SHIP counselor. Today we're going to talk about Medicare open enrollment. But first, Donna, tell us, what is a SHIP counselor?
Okay, SHIP counselor is a trained, either volunteer or in this case, the East Brunswick Township provides a SHIP counselor to East Brunswick residents. We take a 6-week course when we first start to train us in the basics of Medicare and how Medicare works. And then you shadow with an experienced SHIP counselor, and then you're on your own to assist people with Medicare. People new to Medicare, people that have questions about Medicare, appeals with Medicare, anything to do with Medicare. Someone will call Medicare's hotline, and they will eventually, if they are from East Brunswick, will be referred to me to get assistance.
Okay, so you used your SHIP training for open enrollment. Open enrollment started recently. Can you tell us about open enrollment for Medicare?
Sure can. Open enrollment happens every year, starts on October 15th, it ends on December 7th, and it is primarily the time where people who are already in Medicare can look at their coverage and make changes. The most, I want to say, important and also the most popular change review is done with prescription coverage. Each year, insurance companies have the opportunity to change their premiums and change what they cover and how they tier the prescriptions. So it's very important when you have a Part D plan, which is your prescription plan through Medicare, to look at that coverage and see how it's changing next year. And if it is in fact changing where it's going to be more expensive, there is the opportunity to switch to a different company, which may be less expensive and cover your prescriptions at a better rate.
So is seeing a SHIP counselor the only way that people can get this information?
No. SHIP counselors are trained to do this, but you actually can do this on your own. You can go to Medicare.gov, and there's an option called Plan Finder, where you can put in your prescriptions, and they're very specific as to the name of the prescription, strength, dosage, how often, all of that. And then it will generate a list, and then they take that list and the database will compare it to all the options for 2017, and it'll tell you what is your least expensive to your most expensive prescription plan. And you can, right from that page, actually enroll for the following year in a different plan if you would like to do that on your own.
Okay, so open enrollment helps with Medicare prescription drug plans. Does it do other things too?
Yes. In Medicare, there are two ways you can go. You can go with traditional Medicare, sometimes if you can afford a supplement, and then also your Part D plan, that's the prescription plan. Or there are some people who take the Medicare Advantage plan option, which is where all of that is combined, and both your prescription and your medical coverage is combined with one company. That is more of an HMO. There are doctors that need to be in that network. So during open enrollment, that is your opportunity to go from one to the other if you would like to. If you're in a Medicare Advantage plan and you want to come back into traditional Medicare, you can do that and then join a prescription plan, or vice versa. If you're in traditional Medicare with a prescription plan and you would like to try a Medicare Advantage plan, you can do that during open enrollment also.
Okay, anything else people need to know about open enrollment?
Again, you have until December 7th to make your changes. They become effective January 1st. For the Medicare Advantage, you do get a grace period when you first enroll. It starts January 1st. If you find you're not happy with it, you have until February 28th to disenroll and get back in traditional Medicare with no restrictions, no penalties.
Okay, so if someone wanted to see you, to make an appointment because they're interested in checking out their Medicare during open enrollment, how would they do that?
All they need to do is call the center. My number is 732-390-6809 to make an appointment. We also will have other SHIP counselors on hand for open enrollment because it is such a busy time to assist us with the same procedures, looking over your Part D plans, helping you get in and out of Medicare, traditional Medicare or an Advantage plan. So just give us a call and we'll be happy to schedule an appointment.
Well, it sounds like a great service.
Thank you.
If you would like more information about Medicare open enrollment, SHIP counselors, or any other programs available through the East Brunswick Department on Aging, then please call us at 732-390-6896. And please remember, the East Brunswick Department on Aging is here to help you and yours age successfully.